Bournemouth are at the centre of a Premier League survival Sunday at the weekend as we travel to Everton. The Toffees just need a win, but Leeds and Leicester, well, they're going to be pinning their hopes on us to see if we can do them a favour. It's a huge weekend of football. Welcome to the Back of the Net match preview. I'm Sam.
And I'm not Tom. I'm Tigz.
How are you, mate? It's great to have you on a preview show.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Come out of work a little bit early in the sunshine. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Beautiful. And those who've got an eagle eye on YouTube will have seen that Tom is in a fan debate William Hill special. We'll pop the link in the description below. I think Tom did an excellent job at representing the Cherries. He always does, doesn't he?
He's incredible. Love him.
He absolutely is. Now, we have got history of going to Goodison Park on the final day and getting a result.
Yeah, but still getting relegated.
Yeah, we did get relegated, but our form against Everton, when you look at our head-to-head, we'll tease that later, is actually pretty good. Let's look at the league table now. There it is as a whole. Congratulations to Manchester City. In the end, they pretty much strolled away with it, but as we look towards the bottom, it is tasty. In fact, let's take a look at the bottom of the table. Bournemouth, we could get 13th place. I think the lowest Tigz we can get is 16th, but I would not want to be a fan of either Leeds, Leicester or Everton. It's going to be an interesting weekend, isn't it?
Big clubs, by anyone's admission, really, aren't they? I mean, huge clubs, worldwide following, big fan bases. Success as well, like really, quite recently. Everton didn't have a great season last season, but it wasn't that long ago that Leicester were, champions. And Leeds, they were on quite a run under Bielsa. Bizarre.
Absolutely, yeah. So these are the permutations then. There you can see it on screen. So Leeds play Spurs. It's at Elland Road. This is what needs to happen. They must win, but they have to also rely on Leicester dropping points, and Everton must lose. For Leicester, who entertain the Hammers at home, well, they need to win. Everton must drop points, and whatever happens to Leeds, well, it's pretty much irrelevant. For Everton, though, a win secures safety. That's all they need to do. A draw might be all right, providing that Leicester don't win and Leeds don't win by 3. And a defeat is also okay, so long as Leicester and Leeds don't win. It's going to be a very interesting weekend. And, mate, the final day on Match of the Day, it's always played out and they do it chronologically, don't they?
I love it. Yeah.
And you hear the kind of the distant murmur in the crowd that turns into a big roar at times, and I'm sure we're going to be experiencing that. I suppose we've had it in some ways with AFC Bournemouth against Charlton, didn't we? When things elsewhere. Obviously that was at the different end of the table, but I can't wait to be part of it. But I'm just glad we're not in it, so to speak.
Yeah, it's quite weird being almost a passive bystander of watching this. What I didn't realise until you said that, because I'm a bit rubbish, is that all 3 teams are at home. Wow. So someone's getting relegated in front of their home fans. Ooh.
Yeah, it's not going to be great. We could be on the beach, Everton fans. We could be on the beach. Our form recently suggests we might be, but I'll tell you when we weren't, and that was back in December, where we beat them an aggregate of 7-1 in 2 games, the Carabao Cup and the league. Should we take a look?
Oh, yes, please.
This is horrible. This weather is abysmal.
Goal from Everton. And it's on about 60-ish, 66 minutes. Great strike from the outside of the box. Damari Gray, ex-Eddie Howe target, netting in front of the Ted McDougall stand.
Let's score one more.
There we go! I said I didn't care about this cup, I so do. stand. East stand, we're in the East stand. No, he's putting on. That's him! That was, I'll tell you what, in terms of having a good few days of football, I think we played them on the Tuesday night, Carabao Cup 4-1. We changed our squad somewhat, I think they did as well, but then, you know, the real match was on the Saturday, and we beat them quite convincingly 3-0. We sang Gary O'Neill's name, mate.
We did, and they had Super Frankie Lampard, didn't they? I mean, what I remember at the time was there was that kind of wave of optimism in terms of us, and we had a new owner come in. That was all announced. You know, we knew we were going to spend money. Yeah. You know, who are we going to get in next as our manager? It was all really exciting. World Cup was coming up. Yeah. Everything felt good.
It did. This was how the league table looked at the time. We were actually in 13th place, so on 16 points. And Everton, obviously, it's a lot more compact then, but they were just above the dotted line as they are today, on 14 points after having played 15 games. And we did get the win. Then came the World Cup, of course. Yeah. We were flirting with Bielsa. We got O'Neill. We know our side of the story. But Everton had Lampard. But after the World Cup, he didn't pick up a single win, mate. He didn't pick up a single win for Everton. So by the end of January, that's when he got the boot. And look, Tom's been outspoken on this channel a number of times about how good Frank Lampard is as a manager. He sort of managed to get the Chelsea job and the Everton job without really having anything significant on his CV, has he really?
Yeah, sort of a all right little go in the Championship with Derby, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
I don't know, man. I just think, I suppose we come from a sort of school of thought. I know you kind of agree with this. When we had our previous manager had to work his way up the league, and I just feel like you need to kind of earn your stripes a little bit, don't you, before you get a Premier League job, really. And actually, there's really good players that have stepped into the manager's shoes. Lampard, not done well. Gerrard, not done well. Super Scotty Parker, every excuse under the sun, not done well, really, has he?
And Gary Neville, not done well. But I think Frank Lampard's been fortunate in some ways, because I think the fans' wrath at Goodison Park stretches beyond the manager, and obviously there are issues beyond that now. Obviously there's the backdrop of this new stadium at Bramley Moor Dock, which hopefully we'll catch a glimpse of at the weekend, that looks absolutely incredible. But on the pitch, it hasn't been too great. Off the pitch as well, with some of the decisions that are being made, fans are not overly happy with. So maybe Frank Lampard has kind of got away with it somewhat, because he's just been just another cog in this whole chain of events at Goodison Park that means that fans are very unhappy. But alas, he did get his marching orders. And then when we heard the news that Sean Dyche was coming in, now given that we had a very poor January as well, I don't know about you, but I was bricking it thinking, okay, Sean Dyche, he knows how to keep a team up. And then when he did have his first match, do you remember we were stood on the train platform at Brighton?
I do, yeah.
And we were watching it on BT Sport as he got a result against against Arsenal. Sorry.
Yeah.
And they won 1-0, and we're thinking, hello, he's gone and done it, hasn't he?
Yeah, it felt like it. Thankfully, thankfully for us, to be fair. Yeah. He's had a pretty hard run of games to contend with.
It's been a mixed bag for him. There have been some really poor defeats, and then just weird results, like at Brighton.
Yeah.
What was that all about?
Madness.
But I'm sure he's going to get him up for it this weekend. Isn't he?
Oh, he's bound to. I find it quite amusing, really, because when he got the job, a lot of people were a little bit annoyed in that we didn't look at someone like him as a kind of guy who's going to guarantee a style of football that will keep you up. That's kind of what he offers, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he's got a pretty good record at doing that, and keeping teams up. And there was only one person out there who has a better record, and that was Big Sam. And that's where Leeds went. So here we are, final game of the season, and one of those two gentlemen is going to have a relegation on their CV.
Oh, it's going to be a tasty weekend. It's live on Sky, so if you're not going up to Goodison Park, you can catch it. It's weird that the whole world is watching us. It's great. It's a 4:30 kickoff, and if you're travelling up, safe travels. Takes about 5 hours to get there, but it's going to be beautiful up there. 18 to 90 degrees. Not a cloud in the sky. Well, there might be a few clouds, but it's going to be a glorious weekend. It's going to be a glorious weekend down here, mate. Saturday, Chris Smith.
Yeah.
What a weekend of sport we've got.
Unbelievable. Could be an amazing double header for Bournemouth fans, couldn't it?
Yeah, so safe travels if you're travelling up, whether you're going up on the Saturday. We're watching the boxing going up first thing on the Sunday, then a night out in Liverpool. And if you're new to the channel, you've not watched before, then we'll give you a few reasons to subscribe, because straight after full time, Tigz, people, Everton fans, Bournemouth fans, Premier League fans, Leeds fans, Leicester fans, whoever you are, could experience some post-match opinion, can't they?
Yeah, come along. Have a little chat with us. It'd be lovely. We'd really like to know. Obviously, there might be some people out there that are feeling a bit, well, who knows? So many permutations, Sam. We can't work out what's going to happen.
Yeah, fan cams then, you can see that's about an hour or two after full time. We'll also have our match day vlog. That'll probably be out on the evening of bank holiday, but also the away day review, Tigz. Now, that's always fun, isn't it? We are waiting for someone else to join the likes of Newcastle at the top of this away list. Do you reckon Everton could be the one?
Could be. Bearing in mind, it's not based upon the result of the game. Yeah. It's just based upon our experience of what it's like to go there.
Yeah, we'll find out. So if you want to subscribe, we'd truly appreciate it. Go to youtube.com/AFCB podcast. Hit that like whilst you can as well. So let's take a look at the form table then. Bournemouth, I mean, we've dropped off a little bit. There is the saying on the beach. But, when you look at some of the performances, I mean, yes, the last two. Palace wasn't particularly great. Man United was a weird one, because when I was there, I was a bit nonplussed, but on match of the day we actually didn't look as bad. But the Chelsea one at the start of that three was actually a good performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Chelsea one was. I mean, we scored a goal for a start, which makes a big difference. And it felt like we were in that game, and then it just sort of fell apart in the end. The Man United game, I suppose we were sort of in it, but we did make quite a few changes. Well, and that's what kind of added to my feeling that we were on the beach a little bit, in that it didn't feel like we were going for the jugular, that we were really trying to get a goal. We were just trying a few things out. That's what it felt like to me. Other people may disagree. It wasn't the most entertaining game. I did have a little bit of almost nodded off.
Like Ollie actually direct messaged me on Twitter saying, "Did Tigz really fall asleep?" I was like, "Well, I think he did."
About 10 minutes before the end of the first half, it
was. Yeah,
it wasn't great.
No, it wasn't. But look, that's probably making Everton fans lick their lips, thinking, "Okay, we are playing aside." But there are reasons for Leeds and Leicester fans to maybe be a little bit more optimistic. Not least our head-to-head record against Everton. Let's check it out now. Look, what we're focusing on is recently in the Premier League, and it's actually not bad. Look, we played them in the League Cup as well, but last 3 times in the Premier League, Tigz, we got some W's. We did lose 2-0 at Goodison Park back in 2019, but really, when you look at it, it's actually not that bad a record, is it?
No, I mean, the 1920 season where we went down, we got 6 goals against them over the 2 games. Wow. Okay.
And one of their one of the people that they probably don't want to be seeing on the team sheet, probably won't, Junior Stanislas.
Yeah.
I mean, just imagine, wouldn't it be funny for shits and giggles if we just named him in the side? Because they would be freaking out. Anytime he plays, he scores against them.
He's definitely got a trick up his sleeve always, isn't he, against them? Bless him. Interesting. I mean, I still can't get my head around how they can have a squad that good.
They have got a good squad. I mean, I think they'll have some players out, but I think it'll be interesting to see, what we go for in terms of our predicted team. But even still, when you look at the players on paper, I don't think they should be where they are in the league.
No way.
And it has been a poor season for them. But then I think everyone can say that. Leicester can certainly say it with the talent that they've got. How they are where they are, I don't know. But it's going to be weird. It's going to be a party atmosphere if they win. If they do win, that means Leeds. A lot of Bournemouth fans want to see him go down, but I don't want to lose a football game to see Leeds relegated. I want to win the game.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling, isn't it? Because you're going to have the game, the moment of the game, and then you're going to have what directly follows the game. Now, we know it'd be great to have a party atmosphere and everyone feels happy. Maybe we get a draw or something like that. But there are different permutations that could mean that someone's going to be very, very sad. And if it is Everton fans, there has been a bit of talk, hasn't there, about it perhaps not being received very well by Everton fans.
Yeah.
And therefore, they could be really angry, actually. I'm not just talking about upset about relegation. I'm talking angry about relegation. I think that I saw... Did you see the thing last week that they got in a security firm?
Oh, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Pictures of a security firm just to practice what would happen if there was a disenchanted kind of pitch invasion. So, yeah, it is bad. And you don't want to see that, do you? You don't want to see a team getting relegated, especially one with such a rich history in football. But we got to do what we got to do.
Yeah, exactly.
We're having a thing this week about... I'm sure we might talk about a little bit about, prices of tickets and things like that. And the club need to make money, and actually another position in the Premier League, it means more money.
Yeah, hugely. My concern is, right, I mean, I suppose it's not a concern, but we've had 3 losses on the spin. Now, the probability means that we're probably not going to lose again. We might get a different result. But what that's going to do, and I put this on Twitter during the week, that it's going to mean that pundits, maybe lazily, maybe not, are going to see that, and momentum carries on even throughout the summer. So we're going to be one of those clubs, I think the size of our club will dictate that anyway, that they're going to say, Bournemouth are going down. Obviously, whoever, I think maybe Burnley, because of the style of football and they've been so good under Vincent Company, they might escape a few pundits' predictions. I think Sheffield United will be down there.
Yeah.
And also, whoever wins out of Coventry and Luton, I think a lot of them are going to say they're going to be relegated. I can't help but think our form now will dictate that a lot of pundits are going to say that Bournemouth are going to go down. So is that now our gauge of success? Each season by disproving pundits wrong.
Yeah.
Is that what we are?
I think maybe at the moment, yeah.
I don't want to be that club.
Until we really prove them wrong.
I want to see progression.
Yeah, but we can see progression. But we'll see progression under the radar for a bit.
Yeah.
We'll see progression without people giving us any credit. It's interesting you say that, because I had the same thoughts, and I thought to myself it'd be quite weird. The odds come out for next season. Whoever escapes relegation, I bet they're probably, got better odds that they're going to stay up than we, it will be us still to go down next season and Everton to stay up or Leeds to stay up, despite the relegation battle on the last day. Yeah, completely agree.
And look, Everton's season, we talked about it, but what we're going to do is have a look at the results under Sean Dyche now. They started off and they beat Arsenal. And, do you want to talk me through some of their results since that first win for Dyche, Tigz?
Yeah, so he got the win, didn't he, against Arsenal, and then he went into the Merseyside derby against Liverpool, which they lost, which was not unexpected with the way that Liverpool were playing at the time. But then they came back. They got a good result against Leeds, but then they lost to Aston Villa. Oh, it sounds a bit like us, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Sounds a bit like us, but Villa were doing very well at the time. Then Arsenal got their revenge, smashed them 4-0, and then they managed to get a draw from Forest, which again surprised people because Forest weren't looking great at the time.
No, very true.
So that was a real good game. And then Brentford, they got a result there.
That's a good result, actually.
That's an incredible result.
That's a great result.
They made us look rubbish, didn't they? Chelsea, they got a result there.
And I know that Chelsea were poor, but we couldn't get a result against them, so they probably deserve credit for that, don't they?
Tottenham,
yeah, they got a point there.
And then things changed a little bit for them. So then they lost to United, they lost to Fulham, who've done great guns this season. They got a draw with Palace, 0-0. Not many 0-0s this season to see. So then they lost to Newcastle. Eddie smashed them, which sort of around about that time made us feel a little bit safer, didn't it? I remember thinking that. And then Leicester with a draw. Both teams still down there.
I felt that was a big game for them at the time, by the way.
That was a massive game.
I thought that Everton were going to wipe the floor with them based on how they started it, but Leicester came back, and I think it was a cracking game. But they were, Leicester were probably good value for the point there.
It sort of started this kind of resurgence, didn't it, in terms of them and people thinking, oh, maybe we'll do it, maybe we'll keep them up. And then they go into that Brighton game.
Oh my God.
Which nobody can still fathom how that happened, which is the 5-1. And then unfortunately, they had to play Manchester City because everyone has to play them at some point, and they just did what Manchester City do and done to most teams this season. And then it was Wolves.
And that was a last-minute goal, wasn't it?
Yes.
Oh my goodness me.
Yeah, because we were watching that, weren't we? It was on the other games were playing because it looked really, really bad for them. Really bad for them.
So it's fair to say their form is a little bit shaky, to say the least, and it's going to be a real high-pressure fixture for them. Do you remember the last time we played them at Goodison Park, Tigz?
No, I don't.
No? I can.
Go on.
The last time we played them at Goodison Park was when we got relegated.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So, obviously, we weren't there.
We weren't because of COVID.
And I think goals from Josh King from the penalty spot. I think Everton then equalised through Moise Keane. But then we had a header from... I remember it was a header from either Lerma or Solanke. There was a cross. But it actually turned out to be Solanke to put us 2-1 up. And then in the second half, I think Stanislas... Again, of course, Stanislas then made it 3-1. But unfortunately, we needed West Ham to get a result over Aston Villa.
Yeah.
And thanks to that goal line technology, error between Villa and Sheffield United or whatever.
Hawkeye. Yeah, Villa.
Sadly, that was enough to send...
Basically, Villa relegated us that season. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Absolute joke. So let's take a look at Everton's January transfer window. I mean, if I had a tumbleweed sound, I would. No incoming players.
Wow.
No incoming players. And it's fair to say one of their main men who has been crucial for them. He was out the door, wasn't he? He went to Newcastle.
Anthony Gordon. Yeah, and he's not been instrumental really in their season, has he? Going out there, so it's sort of it must be a little bit gutting for Everton fans. You're not even really using him that well.
No. It's fair to say that they are bricking it, mate.
Yeah,
and I would be if I was in their position.
It's not. I mean, I suppose of all the teams, it's more in their hands. Yeah, because if they get a result, that's it. Yeah, they've done it. Yeah. Whereas the other teams, if they get a result, they've still got a hope.
I suppose, weirdly, the pressure's off the other teams.
It is weirdly. But as we know, and this is the thing, you're not supposed to know what the results are, right? You don't want to know as a manager. They always say you don't want to, but you're going to find out. Yeah. And so the game is going to change. The tension's going to change. Here a goal at Leicester. Here a goal at Leeds. It's going to change. It's going to be weird.
Yeah.
It's exciting though. It's exciting.
For us, Phil Bill, we're hoping he's going to be back in. But we know that Marcus Tavernier is basically not going to be used for the rest of the season. But Traore might be in, mate.
Yeah,
and we saw him at Brighton, and he had some real good spells at Brighton, didn't he? He was quite good.
He is. I mean, he's a good player. Everyone says he's a good player. He's got a lot of technical ability. He's very physical. And we've signed him now officially, didn't we?
That's right. So
he's not a lone player anymore. Essentially, he's ours.
So it's fair to say that both teams will have key players out. Not least Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And he's a doubt for the Toffees. He's not the only player to watch, of course. Dwight McNeil, he seems to be their player in form at the moment. He had an outstanding game away at Brighton. He was man of the match for that. He scored 4 goals and got 1 assist in his last 7 games. He's actually the Toffees' leading scorer with 7 goals. And a certain player for us is our leading scorer. We're not sure whether he's going to be in or not. We're hoping he is.
Phil Bill? Yeah, he's not featured recently, has he?
No.
So it'd be nice to have him back. But then there's this thing, isn't this, with us, in that we don't have to win the game. Yeah. And so this is what I said about Dominic Calvert-Lewin, because you want your best players on the pitch. We don't need our best players on the pitch, really, do we? And we already know that Tavernier is not going to play. Yeah. That's, he's just not going to risk him, is he?
One of the things that really frustrate me is that, this is the chance for fringe players to show Gary O'Neill what they can do, and I feel as though they haven't really done that so far. The players that have come in.
You see, this is the funny thing, because we used to do this in previous seasons of the Premier League as well, didn't we? Under Howe, we would bring in the fringe players in the last game or the last 2 games, and they were always a bit rubbish. And then you go, okay, now I know why you've not been getting many minutes this season. But you're right. I mean, there are some players that are just sort of disappeared, completely disappeared out of existence for us. Obviously, Mr. Zamura's off, so we decided not to use him. But Stacey, for example, it'd be nice to, would he get a few minutes? Are any of these players going to get a little bit of a send-off?
All will be revealed. And look, Everton fans, it's fair to say that Phil Bill is probably our man to watch, leading scorer with 7 goals from 33 starts. Dom Solanke, He's crucial to our game. He'll be starting. He scored 6 goals in 31. At this point, we're going to do the teams. Tom's not here, but don't worry. I've got an earpiece. Let's do it. Okay, so we'll start with Everton then. And look, Thomas sent me these. He's so busy with William Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can still do the teams.
He still remembers who his guys are. You know, he's still...
yeah. 4-3-3. That's what Everton are going to go for according to Tom. Who's in goal?
Pickford, got to be in it.
Yeah. Across the back, who we got?
We've got Holgate, we've got Tarkowski, Minya,
and also Mikilenko as well.
Mikilenko.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good left back for them, and they've got a fairly strong midfield as well with Onana, Guehi, and also Decore as well. And then up front, as I say, it's a shame they haven't got Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I mean, it is for them. It's certainly not for us. Iwobi, ex-Arsenal player, also Gray as well, and McNeil as well. I think Everton's strength is maybe not in having an individual star man.
No, I agree.
I think it's just this kind of team ethic that Sean Dyche occasionally has got right, like for instance the Arsenal game, the game against Brighton, etc. So he's going to be relying on that in tandem with the crowd to get the team over the line, isn't he?
I mean, they've got some really kind of physical players in that team, haven't they? That will like his style of play, but they aren't really his team. They aren't really the players that necessarily he'd go out and get. Be interested if he keeps them up. What kind of players he'd go out and sign, actually.
And as for Bournemouth, then I'll let you talk us through this 4-3-3 Tigz.
4-3-3. Neto,
Yeah.
Of course, captain will be Smith. Now I heard a nickname for this guy, Zabs. Do you like that?
Zabs, love that. Zabar. And you know what? The club put out a little montage, didn't they, of his kind of. I don't think it was every touch, or maybe it was every touch. I don't know, but he looks so assured. Actually, he's one of these players. I think Marcus Senesi was very similar when he came in. He had a few performances that you're thinking, how good it actually is he? And then over time, he's got better. But even in that United game, I thought the Zabani looked exceptional, actually.
Yeah, I think those two as a pairing next season will be really interesting because they both want to come out with the ball.
Although, is Senesi going to Man City?
Well, he's next on Tom's list there. Senesi's playing in the game. I can't imagine Man City will be coming in for him. One person that has been linked with other teams in the past is Kelly as well, who Tom's put at left back. What a versatile player he's been. I prefer him at centre half.
Left side of a pairing or left side of a 3.
Which we know we could change to at any point in the game, couldn't we?
That's right, yeah. We do seem to mix it up. But what about midfield?
So we've got Lerma.
Yeah.
Could be his last
ever game. Mate, don't do this to me. Do you reckon it will be?
I do.
I mean, we saw single-handedly how much he was hanging around. I've never seen anything like it.
No.
I've never seen a player hang around and do autographs and selfies, signing everything. He came on the fan side of the barrier as well. This could be his last game.
He was in it with the fans. Yeah. That wasn't a just in case, was it? It just felt a little bit more final than that. Then you've got Billing, who'll be playing a little bit more advanced, I imagine, and moving forward a little bit on the left. And then Cook, which Cook and Lerma, not quite sure.
Yeah.
I
never really liked them as a defensive, as a midfield pairing. To be fair, I think because when we played 4-4-2, there was quite often the time where Cook and Lerma would be together, and it just for me it didn't work. I think Cook had an okay game against Man United. I would just want to see him because if you've got the choice at the moment between Cook and Rothwell, you're having Rothwell. Cook doesn't drive forward as much. He's a very safe player. I want to see him. I want to see him doing more on the pitch.
And I think he can drive forward more. I've seen him do that previous seasons. But I think we've got a problem. Do you remember in England they always have that argument like Gerrard Lampard because they did similar roles. So one of them would have to stay back and one of them would go forward. I think we have that kind of problem with our midfielders sometimes.
Yeah, I agree.
They kind of do a little bit of everything. So no one ever gets to do what they're really, really good at. So Billing, we know, is really great driving forward, but quite often this season we've had to pull him back and play him more defensively. But that's because we're expecting a little bit more from our wing play, I guess. And up front, we've got Christie, who's been going great guns second half of this season. I think
he's been exceptional. Had he put in this form at the start of the season, I think he could have been a contender.
I agree with you completely. And then Ouattara on the other side, and then Dom Solanke, who will be looking forward to linking up with Billing again if we've got him back, because those two together, fantastic.
I think Ouattara could be could cause trouble. He could. But enough to win. Let us know in the comments what you think. Look, we're really interested to see what you got to say. Put your comments in. Let us know your score predictions. At this point in time, you know what's going to happen. I'm going to come to you, Tigz, and I'm going to ask you what you think. What are you thinking?
I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw.
Do you?
Yeah.
Is it going to be enough for him? Is it going to be enough for him? Do you think that...
Yeah, I think it's going to be enough for them.
What, so Leicester won't beat West Ham? Because if they do... Right.
Yeah, I think it's going to be enough for them. I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw. I think it's going to be enough for them.
I have a feeling it's not going to be plain sailing for Everton, but I've got a feeling that they are going to be the team that perhaps survives. Because look, when we played West Ham, when they had Europe on their mind, they absolutely smashed us 4-0. And momentum's also key. I know he wants to rest players ahead of their final and stuff, but momentum's also very key. And I think Moyes will get them playing. And I've got a feeling that they'll probably get a point at the King Power. Leeds, Spurs, not sure. It doesn't really matter. I think it would only matter if Everton lost and Leeds beat Spurs by more than 3, which isn't going to happen, I don't think. They might get a result, but I don't know. I genuinely think it could be between Leeds and Leicester. I was going to ask you, like, who do you want to go down? But you don't really want anyone to go down because you're that kind of guy, aren't you?
Yeah, I think Leicester's been over the years, my preferred away day because it's quite a nice little trip.
Yeah.
So based upon that, I want Leicester to stay up, I think.
Yeah, and then one of Leeds and Everton, we'll maybe do that on Telegram, eh? There's a reason to get on the group. Thank you, by the way, to everyone that's become a member of the channel. We don't put any exclusive YouTube shows on there, but what we do is drop a player ratings show on there. So there'll be a player ratings show drop probably on Monday, and also within the group we'll post bloopers. There may have been 1 or 2 for this show. We'll also give you the chance to provide some show input as well, a few first looks as well, plus your names on the Legends wall. That's if you become a monthly donor. And we truly do appreciate the support that we get from you. So thanks so much. If you want to take part, and we're going to be posting content throughout the summer, it's afcbpodcast.com/coffee. My prediction, 2-1 Bournemouth.
Love it.
Oh yeah, 2-1 back. Stanislas to come on and get the winner. No. Who knows what'll happen? But I think Bournemouth might be able to sneak it. And look, it's our form against Everton and our head-to-head record that makes me feel so positive. Maybe I'm wrong to feel positive. That's how I feel. Tigz, can't wait for it. It's going to be a great trip up there. It's going to be a great night out, hopefully.
Yeah, it should be. And we're going to... Gorgeous weather we're expecting. Bring your sun cream, guys.
Yeah.
Sunglasses, hats, whatever you need.
Yeah, lovely. Looking forward to it and looking forward to seeing you up there. Thanks for watching. Up the Cherries. We'll see you at Chris Bill and Smith. Up the Chairs.
Have a cheers.